Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today we are doing our 7 Facets workshop. So this is the 4th month now of this series that I've really been enjoying, and I think it's just a great way to reset and reflect on our month and just our life in general. So the 7 facets I just came up with on my own. There of course may be overlaps, so take the messages as they resonate, but they are number 1 being spirituality and self-development. Number 2, health and wellness. Number 3, free time. Number 4, home and environment. Number 5, love life. Number 6, social life. Number 7, finances and career. So as always, I'm going to pull the tarot cards to give us a general energy update as well as channeled guidance. And today I'm going to do something a little bit extra and special, where I'm going to pull 1 oracle card for each of the 7 facets as well for that bonus message that may need to come through. So I definitely recommend getting cozy, being able to be relaxed so that you can enjoy and receive the messages to the fullest. Maybe get a nice drink or a journal if you'd like to take notes. And let's dive right into it. So starting with the first facet, spirituality and self-development. We have the Knight of Swords, the 6 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups. Wow. Okay. So intuitively, I am channeling into this energy of your love life. I'm feeling like your love life, again, whether you are actively dating or in a relationship or single, I'm getting that there's going to be some overlap between your spirituality and your self-development and your relationship life. So take this as it resonates, of course, but ultimately I'm hearing that your spirituality will grow and develop and really raise to be the highest frequency that it can be through the experiences of your love life. And so this could be a wide range of whoever's viewing this message. This is for the collective that is viewing. So if you're in a relationship, maybe spirituality will begin to be something that you can connect on, or maybe it's just something that you will individually work on through your existing relationship. Even if you're single, for many of this collective, they're in a twin flame, either separation or union. And so very much for the twin flame collective, I know that spirituality plays a huge role in those dynamics. But ultimately with the Knight of Swords, that is usually representing some kind of fast-moving communication or message. And of course, in all of my readings, I don't really like to focus on the external or any kind of predictions, because I want to focus on what you need to be doing in your inner world for your highest path. And so, especially as we're talking about the spirituality facet of life, this is the number 1 facet of life, in my opinion. It's the most important. And it is really your specific journey. It's for your soul. So you may have very spiritually significant and meaningful romantic connections, especially if you identify as a twin flame. But ultimately, at the end of the day and at the end of your life, your spirituality and your self-development is only yours, right? Like, of course, external things and people impact it and play a role. And there's the beautiful soul contracts that we encounter in this lifetime. But ultimately, when we talk about things like your core values, your belief system, your meditation, like these are your relationship with your angels, your intuition. These are things that are so unique to your soul's path. So I just want to give that disclaimer, because with the Knight of Swords, this of course could be some kind of external communication coming in, but it also could be a insight or intuitive message from your angels or spirit guides. It could be some kind of sign or synchronicity that the universe is sending you to help you get more in touch with your spirituality and into that manifestation mindset where you're having this close relationship with the universe as you navigate through life. Now, with the 6 of Cups and the 10 of Cups, I can't help but think that this is relating to some romantic relationship, maybe somebody that you've known a long time or that has come back from your past. But ultimately, I'm hearing that your spirituality will thrive through your romantic relationships thriving. And it's not to say that you can't experience a very fulfilling spiritual life, maybe if you're not looking to be in a relationship now or ever, whatever your case is. But through the either past lessons of your romantic dynamics and relationships, or through the existing, or even through those that are yet to come, a lot of your self-development will take place through these interactions. So that's the message coming through for the spirituality. But ultimately, if you're not in a relationship and you're not really sure how this message will land or how it's meant to resonate, let's say you're single and you don't have any specific romantic relationships that come to mind that you can reflect on. A great way for you to get in touch with, this particular channeled guidance is to perhaps do a journaling exercise or a visualization exercise where you imagine what it would be like to have that 10 of Cups life. Like, what does the 10 of Cups look like for you? The 10 of Cups symbolizes that happy life, marriage, kids. And whether that's a literal dream of yours or not, the guidance here is to reflect on that. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to have this beautiful, happy home life and this sustainable contentment? It's about really having this more permanent sense of satisfaction in life, while also, of course, enjoying just the ordinary pleasures of life and just an all-around good feeling energy and a loving relationship. So what does that look like to you? How would that make you feel? And if you can get your internal energy and your inner world to a higher frequency through these exercises, through this practice of visualization and journaling, you will then be more of a vibrational match to this life. And through that, your spirituality and your self-development will thrive. And your self-transformation, I'm hearing as well. A lot of the internal subconscious limiting beliefs that we may have, that we seek to transform through our soul's evolution, the best way to do that is through your relationships, through the potentially limiting beliefs you may have around your love life. So this is the message I have for that. And the oracle card coming out is amplify your positive emotions. So yeah, that's right on point, talking about the ability to visualize the 10 of Cups life, because when you do that, they will amplify the more that you practice this and feed into it, and you begin to spiral upward closer and closer to your highest self, to this 10 of Cups version of yourself that you will find is your true self, that you are just becoming more and more aligned with and embodying on a more and more pure level through this journey. Okay, so let's move on to the second facet of life. We have health and wellness. So we have the Death and the Four of Swords. So very obvious message here about taking some time to rest. The Death is representing complete transformation and change. And it could be the end of some kind of cycle. Perhaps maybe there's been some bad habits in terms of your physical health. So just to reiterate this facet, so with the health and wellness facet, we're talking about things like our routines. This could be things like your skincare. This could be your physical exercise and movement, going for walks, going to the gym. What sports or active hobbies do you take part in to help move your body, to help, have healthy cardiovascular health, healthy muscles, things like this. This is also your nutrition, if you're eating well. So, when we're talking about the death of certain cycles, this could be, binge eating or eating out a lot, maybe eating food that is cooked with seed oils or other elements that cause an inflammatory response, or sugar. It could be any variety of habits that are not really serving your body in the highest way. And this, of course, this facet also represents mental health as well. So just all around your well-being. So with the Death card coming through, you're being called to look at your routines, look at your lifestyle. You may even want to do some journaling exercises where you do some kind of habit tracking to get clear on how often you're eating certain foods, or how often you're working out, or how much you're sleeping, or what your mood is from day to day, to understand your mental and physical health a bit more. But the death is coming through because you're being called to reflect on what it is that needs to be changed, what habit. And honestly, I'm getting that for most of this collective. You've been doing quite well. This is our 4th month doing this series of the 7 facet workshop. And, there's been a lot of growth, especially as, at least at the time I'm recording this, it's in February, March timeframe. And, we are at the beginning of the new year. And so there's been a lot of momentum of improving certain habits. So I am getting for this collective, and this is whenever you're listening to this reading is of course timeless, but you have been doing quite well. This is not to say that like all of your routines are bad and they need to be fixed, but this is to just say there's probably at least one thing that just already that's come to your mind that needs to be changed, like some bad habit or some unhealthy habit. So that's really what's meant to be coming through here. But ultimately, I am getting that most of this collective is doing quite well on their routines, and the 4 of Swords is coming through because you're simply just being called to rest. And, we are coming off of a powerful, chaotic astrological month and eclipse season. And so the 4 of Swords is coming through to confirm to you that it's okay to take that time to just rest. Okay, so for the Oracle card, we have fresh approach. So yeah, I love this. This is completely in alignment. So this is about taking a higher perspective, stepping out of the box you may be in, looking at how you may be doing something, an old way of doing something that you are being challenged to do in a new and different way. And through this, we really do create magic in our world. This isn't just about, I have to eat healthy because it's good for me. This is about energetically evolving to higher frequencies. Like, this is physical alchemy in the most literal sense of when you eat better, when you sleep better, when you take care of your mind and your body, you raise your frequency. You truly are alchemizing your body on an energetic level. And so with this intention of having healthier habits, you're bringing more joy and happiness into your life. So enjoy this process of experimenting with your routines, experimenting with, what works for you. What's a good bedtime? What's a good meal plan? What's a good workout routine? What's a good way for you to uplift your spirits and your mental health and to keep it sustainable? Maybe there's certain journaling exercises or friends that you need to be checking in with because it just helps uplift you and uplift your mental health. And maybe there's therapy that you might need to start or anything like this. Maybe there's a sense of spiritual community you're looking for, which of course that'll be more in the 6th facet of social life and community. But I mean, there's also overlap with the 1st facet of spirituality. You can see how a lot of these facets will overlap, but ultimately, what is a fresh approach that you can take to some aspect of your health and well-being? And, don't worry about making a right decision or the at times daunting or intimidating task of starting a new routine. Just begin, just make a small decision and just start. And then along the way, you can edit it and tailor it as long as you're listening to your body. Again, taking into account the 4 of Swords, there is some aspect of balance. So if the Death card is speaking to your, lack of workout routine, and so you're being called to work out more, also balance it with the message of the 4 of Swords. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to pull a muscle or burn out. So of course, take that balance into account. But the message is to just begin. Anything that you can start, any decision you can make, any action you can take to just start to plant seeds of these routines, plant seeds of this dream lifestyle that you hope to achieve and that you will achieve. And just know that your angels and this community is here to support you. So I would love to know in the comments if there's this particular habit that you are committing to improving on. But let's move on to the 3rd facet, which is our free time. So this could be things like anything you do for fun, any hobbies, again, there could be overlap with the second facet if you have a lot of sporty or athletic or active hobbies. But free time is really just recreational activities. It could also be travel, weekend trips, fun adventures that you take, just pure fun and joy. So we have the Page of Pentacles. I love this energy because this is all about planting a seed, and it's a very physical, way to look at this, because of course it's the Pentacles, and this is about a small beginning that might seem insignificant. So like maybe you have this idea of some trip that you want to go on, and you want to manifest this into your physical reality. That would take booking a flight, getting a hotel, making sure you have the right outfits, and packing your suitcase, and all of those physical things that go into planning this trip that will energetically evolve you even higher. Like that's just, that message is coming forward so strong in today's reading of just, you are on this spiritual and energetic evolution to a higher frequency. And so the Page of Pentacles is about laying those foundations. So what is it in your life, or I should say it this way, where in your life can you, I'm seeing the analogy of like building a house where you have to level the ground, you have to, lay the foundations, the concrete, whatever it is. Where in your life can you take those actions more, right? If there's something that's keeping you from planning this trip, or from taking part in your hobbies more, or from even just doing the most minor free time activities like drawing in a coloring book or doing a crossword puzzle, where can you better prepare and lay the foundations of your life to help you make more time for these activities? Because ultimately it may seem like a small thing of just taking 10 minutes during a day to doodle a little bit, or this could also be journaling if that's something that, of course, that's going to overlap with the first self-development facet. It could overlap with the second facet of health and well-being, but journaling is something that you may really enjoy doing in your free time. It may seem like 10 minutes of a free time activity is just some bonus extra thing, but the Page of Pentacles is coming through because it's confirming to us that this seed that we're planting, once we lay the foundation and we commit to taking this time to do these free time habits, whether it's 10 minutes of a Sudoku, or whether it's, hours of planning a international trip or travel, right? This seed will eventually grow into something extremely substantial. And again, I'm being pulled back to this message of, it's substantial for your soul's evolution. So this is incredibly significant as it relates to your soul's fulfillment. So you're being called to reflect on where in your life you may better prepare those foundations so that you can sustain these sustain the dedication of time that you take to your free time. So we also have the Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords. So this is also just letting us know that you may be in the beginning phases. You may have some decisions to make. There may be a lot of things that you want to pursue, and you maybe have a general idea, but there is still some more effort and more work to do to get to a place where these things can actually manifest and be a part of your lifestyle that you can sustainably embody. And with the Seven of Swords, there's some message about having a good strategy as it relates to this. I'm also being called to speak on the Four of Swords that we got in Facet 2, and how there's this need to rest, that we don't burn out. So with the Seven of Swords, this message is coming through to practice strategy. You don't want to plan a trip if it's going to make you sick because you're already really busy with a lot of other things, right? There's certain elements of health and wellness that, the second facet, that do need to be taken into account if it's going to be a big travel adventure or something that would take a lot of your energy, right? So practice that strategy and practice that balance, and take that time also to reflect internally before you share or connect with others externally on your free time activities. Really get clear on an internal level first as to what's important to you. An example that's coming to me here is like, maybe you have a group of people that you play tennis or pickleball with, and maybe it's a couple times a week and you always go. And after taking this time to reflect, you realize that there's a lot of other free time activities that you would like to partake in. And that might require you to only go once a week or once every other week to this pickleball group or whatever it is, right? So really have that internal reflection before you share with your external world, because external people may try to convince you or persuade you based on, their, and not in a malicious way, but just based on what their interests are and what they want you to do with them, right? So I think the Seven of Swords is also coming through today to remind you to address this facet on an internal level before you make any decisions and share with the people around you. Okay, let's pull the Oracle card before we go into the fourth facet. We have Adventure. Oh my gosh, all of these are so on point. So the Adventure card, yes. I mean, what adventures are you seeking to go on in life? I mean, ask yourself this question. Maybe take some time to literally daydream. What would be an exciting adventure? Does this mean just going on a hike? Maybe this is like a legitimate international travel. Maybe you want to go surfing in Portugal. I don't know. But really allow yourself to daydream and visualize with no limits. And where does that take you? Does it take you to the mountains? Does it take you to the beach? Does it take you to the forest or the jungle? Or does it take you just somewhere that's less of a literal, adventure, and maybe more so of an internal adventure, whatever it is that your free time hobbies are calling you towards. It could be riding your bike around your neighborhood. Adventure could also literally be something that you do at home, completely in your inner world, right? Through your journaling. Maybe that's like an adventure of learning yourself and exploring the depths of your soul and your heart's desires. I mean, really take this as it resonates. It does not have to be a literal adventure of travel or outdoor nature activities, but for many of the collective, I believe it will be. But this is also a reminder of the importance of this facet, this third facet of free time, is that it's about taking a break from life, and for many of us that typically we think of a vacation or being outside or doing the things that we're not able to do during working hours. But really, again, adventure could be anything for you, anything that allows you to explore something new, whether it's something in your external world, like nature or, literal cities and countries, but explore on an internal level as well. Explore yourself, explore your soul's depths. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth facet of home and environment. So we have the Emperor and the Chariot. Wow, this is very powerful energy here. I'm getting chills as I'm looking at these cards and just like the authoritative empowerment and the movement. So together, these cards represent control and mastery over your life's direction. It's also the willpower to turn your goals into reality. And so before I get too much into this, let me explain this exact facet. So the home environment facet could be where you live. It could be the literal home that you live in, or the city, state, country that you live in. So if you have been wanting to move, whether it's to a new place in the same city or whether it's to a completely new city, this is the facet that will speak to that. It could be about what you would like out of your environment. Do you want to be in the city with a lot of people? Do you want to be more rural and have more silence and nature around you? And this also represents the inside of your home. So maybe the pets that live with you, your organization of your home. Maybe you're really into decluttering or minimalism, or there's some home project that you want to work on. So all of those things could relate to this facet. So with the Emperor and the Chariot, whatever project you feel, and maybe you feel like you love your home as is, but there's usually always some area that we want some kind of change or improvement in. And so the Emperor and the Chariot are speaking to moving forward with that goal, with confidence, with discipline, with a goal-oriented approach. It's very divine masculine energy. So I'm hearing that you've done the divine feminine reflective work, like you know what you want, you're clear on your desires, and now it's a matter of taking steps towards making those goals a reality. And this takes organization, this takes methodical action towards your goals, this takes focus, this takes effort. But these cards together are confirming to you that you have the strength and the positive future ahead of you, the positive outcome in your path, because you have the ability to take leadership, to push forward with your objectives, and you will provide yourself this structure that you are seeking in this realm. So the Oracle card we're getting is empowerment. So also very much on point with this message. So this is about feeling like you have this confidence and this optimistic feeling about your dreams coming true, your goals being achieved. And you know that if any difficulties or problems arise, you have the capabilities to take action to resolve them. And you can lean on whatever intuitive guidance from your inner voice, from your angels and spirit guides, from the universe through signs and synchronicities. You can rely on that guidance to help you in times of needing to make a decision or needing more information to take action on these goals. So continue to be open to these signs and synchronicities, because that will allow you to keep that momentum of this fiery empowerment, because you'll continue to have that confidence. You'll continue to have that support, even if it's just on a spiritual level, as well as logistical and practical and physical opportunities for support. Keep your eye out for those. Maybe there's a friend that can help you with a certain goal or task or things like this. Continue to keep yourself open and alert to these external inputs that may help you achieve your goals. That's what's going to allow you to continue in this empowered perspective, this empowered embodiment. And the payoff will be immense. So there's just such a high potential here. Once you start taking action, you're really going to set the ball rolling and have a lot of your dreams begin to manifest. And again, even if this is just simple as you've been wanting to organize your hall closet for a long time, to something as extreme as you want to move out of the country, right? Like, it may seem insignificant of, oh, I just need to get some storage bins so I can organize my closet. But really, keep yourself open to the guidance and opportunities that may come, because it will allow you to complete these tasks and complete these goals of this facet in such a flowing and empowered way. Okay, let's move on to the fifth facet, which is love life. So we have the 5 of Wands reversed and the 4 of Pentacles reversed. And I want to see if there's any other clarification. We have the 2 of Cups. Okay, wow. So 5 of Wands, 4 of Pentacles. Okay, when these cards are upright, they speak about egoic conflicts or disagreements. And the 4 of Pentacles represents hanging on too tightly to something because of this craving for security. And sometimes trying too hard to control or force certain outcomes. So with these cards in reverse, this is an incredible breakthrough about your love life. And, we mentioned in the spirituality facet, the first facet, that there was some overlap. So keep in mind that when we're speaking on this fifth facet of love life, this is feeding into that first facet of spirituality, self-transformation, self-development, growth, evolution. So this isn't just about your literal love life and romantic relationships. This is also about your growth as a human. I'm hearing karmic lessons that you may be resolving and healing through your romantic relationships. So you are really learning to release your ego. And if you're a twin flame, I mean, this is the purpose of your journey. If you're a twin flame, the degradation of the ego, not allowing your ego to take the reins whenever there's some kind of dispute or disagreement with your romantic partner, and releasing those expectations that your partner will be the specific person, like resisting the ego's desire to put your specific person, your romantic interest, in a box. That's not to say that you lower your standards or you don't expect respect from them, but it's to say that even through disagreement and conflict, there's lessons to be learned. And so there's this beautiful breakthrough you're having where you're recognizing that every time there's some kind of conflict or disagreement, as small or big as it may be, it really is a blessing and a gift. And I say this a lot on this channel, that triggers are always a gift. They're teaching you something about yourself. They're an opportunity for you to dive deeper into the depths of your soul, which we talked about before in the previous facet in this reading. I don't remember, but this is about, I think it was the third facet, but this is about achieving that higher perspective, and in no way lowering standards or self-sacrificing, but having a higher perspective so that we don't get caught up in our ego. And with the Four of Pentacles, this is about releasing that feeling of needing to control, needing to know what's going on. And again, this is not to say to lower your standards. It's perfectly reasonable to want clarity, to want clear communication in your romantic relationships, in any relationship. But with the Four of Pentacles reversed, this is saying that we're not clinging to certain outcomes. We're able to flow with life and to recognize that every part of our journey, even including the ones that our ego likes and doesn't like, or the ones our ego fights against and resists, every part of our journey is meant to teach us something and is contributing to our soul's evolution. And you are really having this breakthrough where that is becoming your new core belief, your new subconscious belief. And that belief is a powerful, energetic, and emotional alchemization, if that's a word, of where you were at before compared to where you are now. And that raising of your frequency is what then allows you to attract in this Two of Cups union. And again, I don't really speak to external predictions or outcomes, but the Two of Cups does represent union. This could be union of self for you, because as we have been talking about the spirituality aspect of your love life facet, the Two of Cups could very much be the union of your inner divine masculine and your inner divine feminine. It's that breakthrough of you reaching this secure and wise approach to your relationships. And I'm seeing 333 on the clock. So that represents support from your spiritual guides. It represents your creative endeavors as well. So this could also be signaling to some overlap with the third facet of life, being your free time, your hobbies. You may have certain creative hobbies that are also going to help nurture and achieve this inner union. You may, I'm picking up on some artistic or creative hobby that you are able to excel in, or that you get ideas from your romantic relationships. Like maybe you're a songwriter, and so you have this romantic relationship or dynamic that then fuels you into writing a certain love song. Or even if you're a painter and you go through some experience in your love life, and that kind of helps feed and fuel your imagination to help you create new pieces. I'm getting that that's with the 333 overlap, that could be something that's manifesting for this collective. And lastly, 333 is all about growth. So again, pointing us back to that first facet of spirituality, self-development, your growth. Like, you are growing so much, and to take a moment to reflect on how much you've improved and grown, especially through your romantic relationships. Okay, let's pull the oracle card. We have clear endeavor. Yeah, you really are reaching this place of clarity, of wisdom, of security. I'm hearing secure attachment. Like, you are clear on your standards, on your expectations, your healthy expectations, because there's nothing wrong with having expectations that others treat you with respect. But it's also that you're coming from this wise, higher perspective where if a certain expectation isn't met, instead of spiraling into your ego, you're able to clearly communicate what you desire. And the clear endeavor card also talks about being clear on what it is that you want to prioritize in your life and what your needs are. This could be physical, emotional, mental, all of the things, especially as they relate to your romantic relationship. What is the goal? And commit to it, right? And so there's an element of standing up for your standards, because you're not clinging so tightly to a certain relationship or a certain outcome like the Four of Pentacles would have represented. Instead, you're recognizing that your spirituality will never be sacrificed. You know, your self-growth and well-being will never be sacrificed for the sake of a romantic relationship. So with the clear endeavor card, you are really, I'm hearing like we're drawing the outlines of some blueprint or something. Like, you are really getting clear on what it is that you're able and willing to put in, and what it is that you're wanting to get out of your relationships. And ultimately, energetically, there's a transactional element to relationships, right? So it might sound bad to say that, but ultimately, you know, we can unconditionally love on the spiritual realm, but we can't really always do that on the physical realm, because it can often lead to self-sacrifice and draining ourselves. And that's really never the journey that our soul wants to go down, right? So with this transactional element, I say this because there's this element of recognizing what it is that you want from your romantic relationship. Are you identifying as more of a traditional divine feminine? And of course, these don't need to be related to gender, and you're wanting the divine masculine to provide you some kind of stability and structure, which, by the way, the union of self is so key here, because your inner masculine is the container for your inner feminine, such that you don't rely on some external person to fulfill your needs or to make you whole, but rather just to add to your life and provide you. It's like a synergistic outcome, right? Where you are reaching this union of inner divine feminine and masculine, where you have this balance and you can sustain it, and you are in this union, but with an added person, you have an even greater level of security and fulfillment. So anyway, with the transactional element, you know, it's about really knowing what it is that you are wanting from this person. Because once you know that, then you can work on how do you communicate it clearly and healthily. How do you stand up for those needs if they're not met? How do you address conflict in a way that's not going to result in some egoic spiral? And then on the other side of this, what is it that you want to give into your relationships? Do you want to be the breadwinner? Do you want to take on domestic abilities? Do you want it to be an even split? I mean, you can really go into the literal outline of what it is that you hope to achieve from your love life. And this is why there's some overlap with the first facet, because we're talking about building a life and building a lifestyle. So it's not like the love life or romantic facet of life is in its own lane and it's just siloed away. I mean, when you are single, for example, and you are looking to manifest a relationship into your life, it's not just about your life plus this person. This is about a union of two beings, of two homes, of two lifestyles that you need to go into with this very clear idea of what it is that you're hoping for and expecting, and what it is that you're willing and ready to give. And so that's why I just wanted to touch on the transactional element, because I think it's extremely helpful for you to get clear on what it is that you picture, because this isn't just about your love life. This is also about your lifestyle, your health and well-being, your free time, like all of the things that you do on your own now become part of this bigger lifestyle picture or blueprint that now involves this other person. And of course, you'll still continue to have alone time and time to do your own things. And it's not like you're glued at the hip and do everything together. But what I'm getting at is that the lifestyles become combined. So the more that you can get clear on what lifestyle you are seeking to have, the better prepared you are to go into a romantic relationship to achieve, you've already achieved that union of self. And now you can achieve even greater self-transformation and evolution than you could have alone. Okay, that was a really long tangent, but that really needed to come out. So I hope that resonated for you. I trust that message came through for the collective of viewers that are here. So thank you for being here and for contributing your energy so that we could even, channel and create that message. So okay, let's move on to the sixth facet of social life. So we have the Star and the King of Swords. I do also, I shuffled and laid out these cards before recording, and as I was shuffling for this facet, I asked my angels and spirit guides after I pulled these two cards, the Star and the King of Swords, if there was anything else to come through to clarify, and nothing came out. Usually cards will pop out. And so that kind of in itself was a message of like, okay, this is the message. And, with the Star card, we're looking at hope, we're looking at optimism. And by the way, the social facet, this is your friendships, this is your community. This could very much overlap with spiritual community, with, your spirituality being the first facet. And this could also represent your extended family. You could even relate this to coworkers, anyone that you have some kind of social relationship with. So the Star card is saying, there is optimism, there is hope. You may have had a lot of friendship breakups in the past, but you're on the right track. You are going to achieve, you are on the path to achieving fulfillment in this area. And the King of Swords came through. And this is why I was wondering if maybe there was another clarification, but there's two channelings that I got from the King of Swords card. One is you may have a friend that, or somebody in your community or social life that has this King of Swords energy of being very logical, rational, a leadership figure, one that is wise and secure and trustworthy, but not very much in their emotions and feelings, but more so in their mind and intellect. And you are being called to maybe lean on them for some kind of advice or balance. So that's why that card was coming through. Another outcome is that you may be being called to develop this trait within yourself. You may be being called to nurture your inner divine masculine, your rational mind. If you're feeling really emotional in this area, you may benefit from balancing that. Of course, continue to process your emotions. I have many videos on that on this channel. But you may be needing to nurture that inner divine masculine without emotionally bypassing, and to just kind of accept and allow that rational, in a comforting way, not in a way where we shame or bypass our emotions, but in a way where we can reach fulfillment and comfort through the wisdom of our more reasonable, rational mind. Not to say that your emotions aren't reasonable, but that's the other message that was coming through, of the nurturing of your inner divine masculine and that more mental, intellectual approach to things. And just to continue throughout your social life to have this balance of emotions as well as the more rational mind. So however that might resonate for you, that's the message that came through. But ultimately, you're on the right path. And I also just, okay, there's one more thing I want to say on this. The reason that you may feel like this facet requires more rational minded approaches as to, to balance your emotions is because you may have had friendship breakups or, lost members of your community, which has resulted in a lot of heavy emotions or feelings of abandonment, or like maybe triggers of abandonment or neglect, or feeling like you gave a lot to a certain friend and you didn't receive back. And so there may be a lot of emotional cycles or repeating loops that are happening. And so the King of Swords is going to come in and kind of give you that rational, like, hey, everything's going to be okay. You're on the right path. You have the skills to attract the relationships that are best meant to serve you. So that's that. And then I also just wanted to say, as I was shuffling the oracle cards, it took a long time for a card to pop out. So it's kind of like I'm taking this message as this may be a slow period for you. Like this month may not result in a lot of social interactions. Take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. But, just the amount, like usually the cards pop out really fast and there's a lot of messages, but because it was so slow for a card to pop out, I really do take that as this channeled message that there may not be a lot of activity in this facet of your life. But again, if that doesn't resonate, just leave it here. But the oracle card that did eventually pop out is Keep Your Dreams Alive. And so I also felt like, maybe you're taking a break from pursuing certain social fulfillments and you're just kind of working on your spirituality or your love life or your free time or your health and well-being, or maybe you're in the middle of moving. So you're not really like having the time or the priority of, pursuing your social life. So the Keep Your Dreams Alive card is coming out because, just remember exactly what it is that you're dreaming of in this facet of life. And there will be an ideal time that will present itself to you and that you will intuitively know when it is to actually take action on this particular facet of life. So you likely have a particular dream, a particular goal as to what your social life would look like. Maybe you've done detailed kind of reflections on this in the past, and just continue to hold space for that, in your heart, in your subconscious, in your spirit. And just know that, even if you feel like you're in a lull or a stagnant period as it relates to your social life, just stay focused on that which is calling you to prioritize on, meaning the facets that you are being called to take action and really prioritize. And ultimately, again, with the Star card, this will lead you to a solution and the achieving of your goals and dreams. Okay, lastly, let's channel into the 7th facet of finances and career. We have the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. So the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles are some pretty heavy energies. So the 5 of Cups is about not seeing everything that you have, feeling disappointed, feeling this grief over some kind of loss. Maybe there was a loss of money, a loss of a job, a loss of an opportunity. Maybe you interviewed for a job and didn't get it, or maybe you thought you were going to get a raise and you didn't get it, or maybe you have just been wanting more money and feeling like you had to make a lot of expensive purchases, like out of necessity, like maybe you had to pull from your emergency fund, things like this where you feel like you've lost something. 5 of Pentacles also being along the lines of scarcity mindset, feeling like you don't have enough, that lack mindset, feeling like you're isolated and that no one's really there to help you. But the King of Cups comes in, and honestly, I do feel like we got the King of Cups for this exact facet in a previous reading. Maybe it was the last one. But the King of Cups comes in with this beautiful, authoritative leadership energy that is also very much in touch with their emotions. This is the inner divine masculine, but also it's the Cups element, which is water, which is the feminine energy. So this is a very well-balanced leadership energy. So this is you being the wise, emotionally balanced leader of your career. This could also be you being called to pursue career opportunities that are in emotional alignment with you. So really leaning on your intuition, leaning on, that gut feeling and how your emotions feel when you're presented with certain opportunities, as well as bringing an element of compassion to this area, compassion for yourself, compassion for exactly what's in your bank account right now, compassion for exactly what job you have right now. And ultimately this ability to alchemize that and, because this will all lead into abundance and gratitude for what you do have. So that's the message that's coming through for that one. And with the Oracle card, we have illumination. So I do feel like something will be illuminated to you in the sense of, where as in the past, you may have jumped to scarcity thoughts. Now you are opening yourself up to more abundance, more intuition, and something will become clear through this process, through this alchemy, through this breakthrough, this transformation from lack to abundance. And so you are going to be shown, if you're not already being shown, that there is hope and that there's always guidance for you. And so just continue to hold on to your beliefs and your goals and your dreams as it relates to your finances, your financial abundance, your dreams for financial abundance and growth, and your career and your dreams for your career. Hold on to those beliefs, continue to have faith, and release any worries or fears that are old subconscious limiting beliefs that don't serve you anymore. And you have the clarity about what it is that you desire. So follow that, focus on that, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. So focus on that which you do have clarity on. And it's more than you think, I'm hearing. Like you may think, oh, I don't know what job to take. I don't know where my finances are going. But if you quiet the mental chatter, which meditation may help you with this, if you are struggling with feeling anxiety about your finances, or, that lack mindset is creeping up, take that time to meditate, quiet the mental chatter, and you will realize you have an exact idea of what it is that you want to manifest as it relates to your money, your financial stability, and your career growth and security as well. So this is the message I have for you. Thank you so much for joining. I would love to hear from you in the comments. As always, this is a monthly series I'm doing, so I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on it, and just anything you'd like to share in the comments. It's my favorite thing to read the comments, so I would love to hear from you. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you join this community. I'm so excited to see our collective growing more and more. And of course, every like on the video is so appreciated. So thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you on the next reading. Bye.